Hi, welcome to our podcast. This is Wayne Drain.
And I'm Noel Richards.
We've been talking about honoring one another by cooperating when you're in an event, whether it be a church gathering or some event where you're having to cooperate between worship leaders and leaders of the meeting or pastors. And how do you make an event work when there's different tensions that you're feeling?
Yeah, I guess when it depends on the event. Back in 1997, I was helping to organise a big stadium event at the biggest stadium in the United Kingdom, Wembley Stadium. And we had a time constraint. We had a lot of artists performing and speakers performing, and we had a programme. But if we went over time by as much as a minute or so, then immediately we would be fined tens of thousands of pounds because of the disruption to the staff at the stadium. They all had to get home, they all had to get taxis, licensing laws and sound laws in the neighbourhood, that sort of thing. So it was vital that everybody kept to time. And I get frustrated when I'm at events when a group of musicians get up on stage and they've been given 20 minutes to do their songs, and then they get to the end of their set and you're getting ready to bring on a speaker or somebody with a prophetic word or whatever, and then they feel led to do another song.
Oh, yeah.
Because, we felt that God was doing something. And to me, that dishonours the platform that they have been given.
Yes. Well, going back to Wembley, to many of those musicians there today, that was the highlight of their lives, getting to play at Wembley Stadium. And so there'd be some sort of a fear that I might get cut and not get to have my moment in the sun. But I remember you talked about before we ever went out that day, you had a conversation with all those that would be performing, and you were so wise, I thought, in saying, we have these restraints, and maybe you can talk about what those restraints were, but you said if we have to cut a song, we don't want you to take it personally.
Right.
It's just we have some authorities that we have to be under and that we have to land this thing at a certain time. Do you remember some of the restraints you were under?
Yes, we were under quite severe time restraints, especially when you've got so many people participating. And another event, again, it was a stadium in Berlin in Germany. And again, we had a multitude of artists taking part. And again, I emphasized to them, look, guys, if you take extra time, you are robbing the next person. You are dishonoring that other person, because that other person's got as valid a contribution to make as you do. So we were all treated the same by the stage manager. If we got to within 30 seconds of our time, he would be waving at us and saying, finish, finish, finish. Otherwise, we are robbing others of that moment. They may just have one song to sing, and we're taking that away from them. But also at that event, there was a guy called David Roos that was leading worship.
Yes.
And towards the end of his set, we were aware that something special was happening. And we'd built into the program a time for us to extend.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And we said, David, just carry on, because there's a flow happening. We'll make room for that. And so I think that's why those of us who are involved in worship leading, in speaking, in praying, in bringing a prophetic word, we always need to keep an eye on the person who is the bottom line for the event and not suffer from felt lead poisoning. If we feel led to do something, let's go and talk to the organizer and see if he or she concurs. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, Noel. And I think on that day we also had the very real possibility of rain.
Yeah.
And so we never knew how long we're going to be able to go. And the other thing we had going for us is most of those people knew each other, and we trusted you. And so we could just lay our fears of maybe being passed over aside and just say we want this event to be the best it can be.
Yeah. So let's avoid felt lead poisoning. Let's work together.